Hey guys, so I am out in my backyard again. We've been talking about soil, and so I told you I would show you the different types of soil I had around my yard. So I've got potting soil in my pots. You guys saw that last week when I was planting seeds with the girls. So I have these jars that I'm going to go around and collect some sand or different types of soil in. I'll put some potting soil in one. I have some sand in the other, and then we're going to grab some soil out of the field behind the house. So real quick, I'm going to flip you around so you guys can see the sand. All right, so there's the spot of sand out here in my backyard, and I'm going to use that little trowel or shovel to put some sand in there. And then we're gonna walk out here behind the house. You guys see that? Ooh, it's crazy windy today. Can you hear the wind? My goodness. Back here behind my house, I have some fields. And actually all the way this way, there are fields. That's Miss Wynn's house over there. You know Miss Wynn that used to be next door to us last year? That's her house down there. But anyway, side note there. Got fields all back here behind my house, all the way on both sides of the house. So I am going to go out there and grab some of the soil from the field, put in a jar. I'm going to put sand that I just showed you in a jar, and then I'm going to grab a little bit of the potting soil that I have in the pots of my plants. And I'll get back with you in just a minute. All right, hey guys, I'm back from outside collecting all of my soil samples. As you see, I have my jar sitting here, and I went ahead and labeled so you know what is in each jar, okay? So I've got my sand. This is my potting soil that I use for the pots, and then I'm gonna go ahead and call this loam. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, because when I was out there looking, I kind of saw a little bit of clay out there when I dug down a little bit, and then I saw like that looser sand type soil on top. It looks like a mixture. I'm going to show you up close in just a minute what each of those look like. But before I do, I want you to go ahead and pause the video. When you pause, you need to find a piece of paper and a pencil. So go ahead and hit pause, go get those things, and come on back. I'll wait for you. All right, you could hear the dog walking through the house. She was waiting for you too. Got your paper and your pencil? All right, cool. All right, so let's take a quick look at each of these. Oh, by the way, with that paper and pencil, what I want you to do is draw these 3 jars. You see mine aren't perfect. They don't have to look exactly like jars, okay? But in a few minutes, I'm gonna have you make some observations about the sand or soil that you see here. So go ahead, divide your paper into 3 parts and draw your jars. It's just kind of a rounded rectangle, and I just drew a long oval and covered in at the top, okay? Hit the pause button and go ahead and do that. All right, we ready to dig in? Cool. So I'm gonna bring you up close, tilt you down a little bit so you can see my 3 jars. So let's look at the sand first. I'm going to pour it right in my hand, and I want you to look at that. I'm not sure how good you can see through the video, but you can see that there are big grains, big particles of sand here. And if you look closely at some of these, you can see the weathered rocks that we talked about in the other videos. Okay, so perfect example, lots of little rocks here in the sand. This is just like the sand that you would find at the beach, except for at the beach you may have little bits of seashell mixed in there too. Okay, so there's the sand. I'm just going to put it on the paper in front of it. All right, let's take a look at the potting soil next. And again, I'm going to pour a little bit in my hands. Oh wow, look at the color difference there. It's a whole lot darker, isn't it? Okay, what is that? Any idea? That too. Okay, so I think one of the videos we watched talked about additives in the soil. Additives is just like it sounds. Anything you add to the soil is an additive. So the additives here are actually fertilizer to help our plants in the growing process, okay? So look how dark that is. Spreading that out here again next to our sand sample, okay? And then I have one more. Again, this is the one that I found out in the field behind my house, and I hope it falls out when I pour it out. Not sure. Yep, there it goes. So last year they planted peanuts in the field behind our house, and look, there is part of a peanut shell that was found in the soil. So we talked about that humus that's out there, the decaying plants and animals and things. This is a perfect example. So this is actually adding nutrients back to that soil to help. Now look at this. That was kind of clumped. It's not a rock. It's a clump of dirt. But I can break it apart. That's got some clay in it. All right, and so you see how I can kind of mold it a little bit. Kind of sticks together. It's a little damp. We had rain a few days ago, but it hasn't rained today or even last night. But you can see that the texture of this is different from the other two that I've already shown you. So there we go. We've got really light colored sand. This is a little darker out of the field. And then this is the darkest. This is the one that I bought from the store to put in my pots to help my plants grow. So go ahead and hit pause on your video, and oops, on your paper, what I want you to do is go ahead and draw this inside of your jars that you draw on your paper. Draw each type of soil, and maybe make some notes as to what it looks like, what I told you it felt like, just to kind of help keep you thinking and on track. All right, hopefully you hit pause and made your observations on your paper. All right, so now I'm going to add some water to these jars, and let's see what happens when I do that. We talked about measuring with a measuring cup last week, 1 cup. And actually I went to my kitchen, and this time I pulled out the half cup, just so we can keep it consistent. Just so you know, I'm not trying to fool you or make you think one type of soil is better or worse than another. We're going to keep it consistent as if it's a science experiment, okay? So I've got my pitcher of water in here, and I'm just going to dip in a half cup and pour into each of these jars, and let's see what happens. And you can pause and write your observations down, okay? So I'm going to start with the sand. Scoop out my 1 cup of water. Let's see how messy we can get here. And I'm just going to pour it right in there. All right, let's come in close. Let's see what's happening here. Can you hear those bubbles? What's happening? I don't know if you can hear Brayson. She said, "That's so cool." Riley and Brayson are behind the camera watching me. Okay, so look what's happening here. That water is very, very quickly seeping down into the sand, isn't it? Wow, that's interesting. Hit pause and make an observation there. Oh, wait, look. It's going all the way down to the bottom. I see it filling in the jar. How cool is that? All right, so now what I'm going to do, after you hit pause, make some observations, then come on back. Made a little puddle on this side. All right, I'm going to take this. Let's shake it up. Let's see what happens. You can make some more observations. If you need to draw another jar underneath for your observations. Now it's just kind of, Brayson's really excited. She said it's just like when we're at the beach. Look at that. Look at the sand is coming, the water is just coming right through. Yes, I will definitely wash my hands after this. All right, I'm not washing my hands yet because we're going to keep getting dirty. All right, so hopefully you made some really interesting observations there with the sand. So if you haven't paused and written notes down on your piece of paper, go ahead and pause and do that, and then we're going to look at the other ones. In just a minute. Let me finish this, okay? Brayson's really excited about this experiment, guys. All right.
Tell you something.
In just a minute. So now I'm going to do the potting soil. Same thing as before. Half cup of water. And let's see what happens here. It's a little harder to see. Okay, it has immediately seeped down into the soil. Not seeing a lot of puddles or anything in this one. There's a little bit sitting right on top.
I want to see.
A little bit sitting right on top. All right, let me grab my lid, another lid. Let's shake this one up.
Whoa.
Wow, look at that.
That's so.
It's really liquidy. You see that?
So it's like pudding.
It does kind of look like pudding, but it's a little more liquidy than that. Now look at the sand. That one's not wiggling quite as much.
That looks like pudding.
Okay.
That looks like black pudding.
All right, we'll come back to that shortly. Hit pause. Write down any observations you had about that soil. Okay? Are you back already? Cool. All right, so now we have the soil I got out of the field. Oh, look, guys, let me reach in here and pull this out. Look, it's more peanuts.
That's so funny.
Okay, and that peanut has already started breaking down. The peanut is actually not in the shell anymore. It's kind of filled with dirt, and it's just kind of breaking down, just like we saw in those other videos. That it's going to break down, decompose, and it's going to provide nutrients for the plants that get planted here in this soil. All right, gonna get another half cup of water. Gonna pour it in here. Let's see what happens with this one. Let's turn it this way. All right. Ooh, he's bubbling too.
Whoa, it's so cool.
Okay. Sitting on top a little bit. It's not really sinking down to the bottom as quick as it did with the sand, is it? You see where it's still sitting there? That's interesting. All right. I'm going to shake this one up too. Hang tight.
Whoa.
All right. So that one's looking, I don't know if you can see it. Oh, look. It's separating in the jar there. That's interesting, isn't it? All right, so let's just shake that up, and we're going to leave this one sitting here as well. So go ahead and write down your observations here. I'm going to let these sit for a little while with the water that we've put in there, and then we're going to come back and see what happens after the water has set in these different types of soil for just a little bit, and then we'll make some more observations. All right, scientists, see you later. Okay, super scientists, we have taken a look at the 3 types of soil that I have around my house, okay? Hopefully you went through and you wrote down some observations. If you didn't, that's okay. You can go back and rewatch this video and then write down your observations. I want you to send me your observations, include what you saw, and then I want you to draw some conclusions. Science word. Draw some conclusions. What did you learn from this video? What did you learn from looking at the reaction the water and the soil had? Do you think one is better for growing things than another? I don't know. What conclusions did you come to when you were making your observations? It doesn't matter to me how you send me that information. Okay, you can make me a video and talk me through it, but show me your notes that you took. You can take a write it down at the bottom of your paper where you were making your observations. Take a picture of your paper and send it to me. Doesn't matter. I just want to know your thoughts, okay? All right, guys. Miss you. Bye.